10-0 or something like that, and he's just able to do so well. It's as far as I can tell, his strongest champion. I mean, he's phenomenal on Ahri, but he's a strong player overall. But still, so we'll see what's banned out. Fnatic banning out Alistar, definitely expected since Teamless has that first pick now. Doesn't want to risk that.
I think Teamless, they're no strangers to Ahri either, so they may be looking up for the first pick Ahri on their own, but it is always a risky proposition to be picking your AP carry first.
But that's one of the strengths of Ahri, is that there's not really a lot of risk involved. Ahri can lane against anyone. Ahri does well in almost any single team comp. So it's not like you've set your comp in stone with Ahri. You pick Ahri and you're safe with whatever you're going to go. Ahri not being banned out, Nunu being banned once again from Fnatic. So getting rid of that support has been very strong for both Fnatic and Teamless. Both of them have been using them a lot. But first pick is actually Evelynn. So I'm going to assume that's a Zyra. Since that's like the newest champion, and
might as well,
whatnot. Yeah. She's very strong.
Yep, and Teamless, they've been using Zyra quite a bit, but coming in for Fnatic, there will be the Ahri lock-in immediately. I'd like to see a Fiddle jungle. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
It's always fun.
It's been a while since we've seen Fiddlesticks jungle. There's a couple of options. They could go with their support right now. They could decide to pick up that Leona if they want to go that again, or they could grab Maokai. Actually, it makes a lot more sense because
he's not banned here.
Not banned, yeah. And the big thing is they don't necessarily have the AoE to set up the Leona. So Leona on a non-AoE team might be kind of iffy. So we'll see if they decide to go with that. But Cyanide has been playing a lot of Maokai to a very successful margin.
So Maokai and Ahri going to be dueling up together, and the Maokai ganks are just they're just like very minimally as less strong than Alistar's. But granted, Alistar can put you out of position, but Maokai just go ahead, keep your root, allow Ahri to just get off the entirety of her kit, pretty much guaranteed. It's a fantastic combo, and those ganks are definitely something to be afraid of. Right now, Teamless, you got the Blitzcrank being considered here. Just thinking of AD carries that may go well with it, which is most of them.
Ezreal or Corki.
Ezreal, go the Ezreal again. Might as well. It'd be a good combo, and Medox is getting pretty well farmed with the Ezreal down bot lane. But then again, you had those 3-man ganks come on in and just kind of ruined everything.
So they're actually comfortable with either AD. They're going to go ahead and pick up Skarner. So that's kind of interesting. And both Ezreal and Corki would be fine picks. You want someone with a lot of mobility, particularly against Ahri and Maokai, since they can get into that back line really easily. And then also high damage to pair with Blitzcrank. I think Corki probably works a little bit better there. So we'll see if Fnatic decides to take Corki. No, they're going to grab Ezreal. So Ezreal definitely a really strong overall pick. We'll see if Soaz, I want to see it, if he'll go with the Jace again. They had run it, when they ran it in the past, it was with Ahri and with Maokai in the game that they won at least. So that would be kind of exciting. And Jace, he could do pretty well against Skarner as well, with the knockback, with the the movement speed for the team to help them get out of there.
However, we've only seen Fnatic pick Jace in the face of the Aurelia top lane. So, and those are really the only times we, at least on our stream, that we've seen them.
They picked Aurelia after Jace. Both games, because Aurelia did very well against Jace, and I at least remember the last one that they lost. They had Aurelia was picked after the Jace.
No, Jace was the last pick for Fnatic against Curse EU, and Jace Aurelia. Let's see here for. Yeah, Aurelia was picked after Jace, well, for existence at least. So okay, we're both right and wrong.
Okay, I thought they were. Yeah, there you go.
We're
both winners and losers. I thought it was after they picked Aurelia after, because Aurelia does very well against Jace. That's interesting. But going to go ahead with the Leona once again on Fnatic. I'm curious what that says about N-rated as a support. If they're just like, we really love the Leona pick, or if they're just concerned about how well he can fill in the role as other supports.
I think N-rated is actually Muffin Cutie.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, if that was the case, then we would see, anything from him, and he would be fantastic.
Yep.
But SK Youngbuck going to be going for, I guess not SK Youngbuck.
So where's the Jace?
Youngbuck going with the Aurelia, and that will work out. Wow, that would be interesting. So Aurelia is just such an all-around strong champion right now. She's absolutely phenomenal. She has diving potential. The big issue is that Ahri and Ezreal have a lot of survivability, but Aurelia is a really strong top lane right now and works well in almost any matchup. So we'll be able to check that out.
Where is it?
They're going with it.
Do it. I think you might want to lock in that that handsome man. Well, actually, they're both Jarvan and Jace are both pretty good-looking dudes.
And they've run both.
Yeah.
The Jarvan. Jarvan actually works very well against Aurelia, and I didn't think that Jarvan would be that successful against Yorick when they ran it the other day. But being able to combo the Jarvan and Maokai, they were able to pick up really quick kills. And Cyanide on Maokai, that's one of the few times that we have been seeing those early level 2 ganks. Usually, teams hold off a little bit, but he's been being really aggressive, particularly in that top lane. If he starts off with red, goes right into that top lane to pick up some kills, switching it up for Jax. So
Jax is pretty good. Jax is pretty good against a lot of Bruiser's top lane. I mean, that's kind of his thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of his thing. He does really well against Bruisers.
Yeah. Aurelia, it is a very even matchup, though, Aurelia versus Jax. As the lane progresses, Jax should be able to win that lane, with his damage output and having the stun and the dodge to be able to, control that lane. So that should be pretty exciting. But the Maokai can put along a lot of pressure. So we'll see how that works. It's a very cool lineup. We are into the champ select once again. So, yeah, there we go.
So let's so these are not the real bans. We're going to go over and recap the real bans here in just a second. Teamless, their actual bans were Shen, Karthus, and Malphite. Fnatic banning out Fizz, Alistar, and Nunu. Teamless, they did, that is, there you go, the confirmation. There's Zyra, the first pick coming in for Teamless, and it's something they've run before. Zyra's pretty good right now. She's doing pretty well.
No, she's phenomenal. She has the chain CC. She has the damage output. You can take down turrets very quickly as Zyra. Just a lot of strengths. You can take objectives very quickly with those seedlings. So very strong. One thing that I really like about the Jax, though, for Fnatic is that Jax has a penchant for split pushing top lane. And as the game progresses, he's going to be able to 1v1 anyone in the game. And so he can just sit in that top lane, constantly farming, constantly putting pressure on it. And what that does is it opens up opportunities for XPK and Cyanide to gank around the map. By splitting up the enemy team, by not allowing Teamless to all group up and have a fight as a whole, that opens up opportunities for XPK. So we'll see how that works. But Teamless, they have a very strong team. Bot lane, Graves and Blitzcrank it's such great burst damage. If you get a pull on the support, then they're going to be able to pick up a kill pretty quickly there. Leona is just, it's a very dangerous situation because Leona doesn't have any sort of survivability, escapability. If the pull happens, then, if she can't turn her around and kill the Graves, then she's going to go down. She's going to die. So, we'll see how that kind of works. But the Skarner should be an exciting pick.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of EU Skarner in a while, but he is very strong at times, and his early ganking presence, once he's level 6 on, his early team fight control, when you have like 3v3 fights or something like that, being able to just suppress someone and take them out of the fight is pretty huge. And
Skarner's been very popular over in the Aegis scene. He's a very common pick, and they love him over there. It's like that suppress, that pull can just do absolute wonders if you want to single out someone. In this case, could actually work really well against the Ahri, because one of the best things you can do against someone who is so incredibly mobile is just keep him still just for a second, just for a minute, and that should be actually more than enough. If there is a Skarner pull onto the Ahri, it could mean disaster. It
just clicked on me. Cottonex is subbing in for Frogurt this game.
Yes.
So, that's definitely really interesting. I mean, he's been very strong with Navi. Navi, there was a time where they looked like, they could compete as that #1 or #2 team in the EU with M5 and clg.na kind of fallen off a little bit, but they're still very strong. So that's kind of interesting to have that in there. Ahri, generally speaking, against Skarner, will have enough mobility to be able to get out of there, but Skarner can close the gap pretty easily. The Ahri charm and then, ultimate and whatnot, those two combinations should make it pretty difficult for Skarner to get into that back line, though.
Yeah, but in the errant chance, if he happens to catch her without the cooldown, charm misses, something disastrous, and it's also not too uncommon to rush a Shirelias onto the Skarner as well these days, too. You get the extra move speed, you get that added initiation, can be a real threat to be dealt with.
Yeah, that's always usually been his first item, just to have that movement speed bonus. You always get a Philosopher's Stone, quickly turn it into a Shurelius to be able to chase people down. So we'll see how that works. I mean, a big thing is it'll put a lot of pressure on that top lane, and Aurelia sets up jungle ganks very well. She can just dive onto Jax and early on, get some nice quick burst damage, but then Skarner having the pull will be able to, bring him back from the tower and whatnot. And they are pretty tanky. They could tank the tower and tank Jax under there. That's always kind of a dangerous prospect.
Yep. And the Fnatic, their team is great initiation, but I'm looking at Teamless, and this also just came to me here. They have a great objective team. Their team can really just put a quick kill onto Dragon, onto Baron, because you have Graves with his attack speed steroid, and you got Zyra with all of those seedlings, which are amazing into Dragon Pit and the Baron Pit.
Yeah, Zyra in and of herself just makes your team an objective team. Like, it doesn't matter who your jungler is. Skarner's, solid at taking Dragon. He does have his shield to keep him kind of healthy, but not the greatest. And so, if you could just really run any jungler with Zyra, and that you have a strong Dragon team if you get an early advantage. I'm kind of curious, is Cotnex going to be running movement speed? He is. So
nice.
Movement speed, that's definitely going to be huge, provide a little bit more of a ganking presence, and then actually not running any offensive, running defensive and utility, so he's going to be extremely fast early on in this game.
He wants to make sure that he has that presence, all that movement speed to be right there in the front line, and just so you can actually go ahead and tank as much damage necessary, so you can go ahead and be that presence you need to be. We've mentioned this before from Fnatic. They've been really favoring that Maokai jungle. Very often one of their first picks, if not the first pick, for most of their games very recently. So so Maokai, what does he provide generally to any team?
Oh, he provides great CC, and he's very similar to Alistar in the respect that you have great early ganks. Later in the game, you can shut down an AD carry by just locking onto him in the back. The AoE control for the team fights, having that damage prevention is always huge. If you're not dying as quickly, if you're not being, if the enemy isn't bursting you down, then you have a little bit more options. You can kite a little bit longer in fights and do a lot of cool things. But the big thing is that Maokai doesn't really need any items to be successful. He's just going to be naturally tanky, regardless of how he's doing, and the fact that he can have those early ganks. So, will be a really strong presence. I was actually taking a look at Tabs. Tabs is running movement speed on Zyra. So, movement speed for Quince, and then also running utility.
Check Blitz real quick.
He's actually going to be very fast as well. So, Skarner and Zyra are both running movement speed. Nope. No, that would have been cool if the whole team was running.
But he is running the masteries, though.
Yeah.
He is running the masteries to actually be really beefy when it comes to move speed, and Blitz also going very defensive as well.
But it should be interesting to see whether or not Tabs is primarily using that for team fights, where he doesn't want to, he wants to be able to kite around a little bit more. Zyra has great kiting potential with her CC and whatnot, but if she's a little bit concerned that she's going to be pressured by either Ahri or Maokai, then that movement speed could help. Or if he's actually using it for some early presence, and if he's expecting to roam a little bit, we have seen in the past, if you get off any early ganks with Zyra, you have great conversion potential, for that. So we'll see whether or not that's the case.
Yep. And also, I can imagine there's going to be a little bit of a concern going from the last game as well, because if you have these ganks coming on in, you need to get away.
Yeah, no, if they're expecting XPK to be, roaming all over the map, then, maybe Tabs needs to keep a better check of him. The one issue that's going to provide Tabs in lane is he's going to be significantly weaker against Ahri. And Zyra, it seems, has enough range where he can just farm safely. He can AoE clear the minions if he needs to. As the game progresses, with his Q and E combo, you can very easily clear the entire minion wave. But the big question is going to be how he's going to stand toe-to-toe with XPK's Ahri, and not having any ability power there, he misses out on some damage, not having any health or anything like that. It could make things a little bit more difficult, but we'll have to see how much pressure XPK can put on. Ahri does fairly well against Zyra. Zyra has a little bit better damage and the long-range harass. However, Ahri, the mobility, once you're level 6, you can just dive right at Zyra and try and pick up those kills.
And you'll see Fnatic here, they're going on around looking to camp their own Wraiths, camp their own red, but you do see Teamless going around, going through the blue. Will N-Rated actually spot them? I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he actually saw them. They are pinging though, so yes, he did
Yeah.
see them, and they are moving over to the blue. And yeah, we'll be able to see where they're going from there. Kerp just coming out, just seeing if he can see anyone in the minions. They definitely saw him that time. But they're in a nice position to come grab this. Leona dropping the ward on the way over, so they'll be able to keep an eye on. They do see they're still hanging out at this blue, so it's just going to be a blue change. They'll be fine.
Yeah, and there you go. It does a very, very nice placement of the ward. Because you'll notice immediately, he's like, okay, did they retreat? Did they actually go back? Are they still around in our jungle? And the answer is yes. So they're going to realize that it was like, oh, Metalux was in the, not Metalux, the Young Buck was in the bush. They did see him go in there, and they recognized, it's like, well, he hasn't quite moved, so you might as well just be going over to top lane. Fnatic, if they really wanted to, could actually go in and just like camp out the lane and grab Young Buck before he actually does get to the tier 2, but I think it's a little bit too risky. It's going to be safe to go ahead and grab that blue and secure it.
Yes, they're going to grab that pretty easily. One of the nice things with Teamless going after this blue, and they're being kind of late on it. Okay, Blitz pulling it over. One of the nice things is there's a couple of things. Oh, Young Buck coming in, trying to see if he can put some pressure on. So Cyanide, he's going to have to smite. So being forced to smite, it means he's not going to get the fast level 3 at the red buff, which would have been a really nice advantage. It would have put a lot of pressure on a Young Buck. So really nice job for him for stopping that. But one of the nice things about Teamless grabbing that blue for Fnatic is the fact that it will put some pressure on that bottom lane. But Twisted Advance, the quick knockback, Young Buck in a really dangerous situation. He's already used his flash, will have to back out of there, and now Soaz is in complete control of this lane.
Yep, and Cyanide having forced to use that smite, now not getting the attempt on the gank, top lane not being successful there. Actually, he's still sticking around. He wants this kill. He knows there's no flasher. Flashes in response with the Twisted Advance. You do have the stun coming in from Jax. The Ignite going down. They should be able to grab that. And so are you going to go down to the tower? Yes, kill for kill. But slight advantage for Fnatic. He did get the first blood gold, and he also got an assist on that as well.
Yeah, and he's slightly ahead of Aurelia on Golden Experience, just a little bit. You know, and Maokai's going to catch up. He's going to be able to throw this right into the tower. So Aurelia is going to miss out on a lot of this, a lot of these minions, whereas you know, Cyanide's going to pull ahead. So you know, we'll see how that kind of progresses. But definitely getting Jax off to an early start is huge, particularly against Skarner. So Skarner, he's not going to be able to get any ganks off for a while. But we'll see what kind of pressure he decides to put on.
Yep. He did grab the red, so he's farming a little bit better in the jungle, but you'll see Cyanide here. Nice pull down on Lamia. Does shift away, albeit it's not as far as he normally would, but still does manage to get away.
It does prevent the damage on the buckshot, though.
It does prevent that, yes it does. So, but you'll see Skarner, Cottonex going back into the jungle, still looking to farm, still looking to be healthy. He's trying to edge out Cyanide just a little bit, but Cyanide with that kill, with that first blood, does actually have the gold advantage, and rated, going to get popped up there by Kerp. Blitz going to be walking back into the bush, taking a lot of harass from Lamia, but Metalux still remaining pretty healthy.
Yeah, and so Blitz going to go back, hitting hooks all day. They were a little bit behind coming in the lane from the mana that they lost going after that blue. But Skarner coming after XPK in the mid lane, he should be fine. Tab's getting off some nice harass damage as a result, though. And so the jungle pressure, you don't necessarily have to burn a summer. You don't necessarily have to get a kill. But XPK, it gave Tabs free harass, and XPK couldn't exchange harass there. And as a result, you know, he's a little bit behind.
But this gank top lane, if Cottonex just goes straight in the lane from there, if you don't go into the river is warded. Please don't take that path. But Soaz could be in a little bit of a dangerous spot. Young Buck using the surge, trying to force something, and there you go. Know that the counter is going to be burned. Does actually jump over to Cottonex actually for a nice escape route. So not the best of plans there, unfortunately.
Yeah, really nice job. Able to avoid a lot of that damage. Kerp is getting pretty low, though. The stun from N-rated. Lamia taking some quick damage, has to back out of there, but the Ignite on Kerp, so he's going to have to leave lane again. But it does open up some opportunities for Metalux. Yep. So even though Kerp is falling behind, Metalux is going to pull a little bit ahead in experience and going to be fine there. And Maokai coming up in this top lane once again will be able to get in range of Young Buck, actually just pulling off for a second. So I think a little bit concerned that they'd be running through all these minion waves and taking all of that damage.
Yeah, and Young Buck also running into the bush just so you can break vision from Cyanide, just so you cannot get that Twisted Advance going. So, good job on the Aurelia. Cottonex is seeming to fall a little bit behind here. Is he still level 3?
Yeah, he is level 3. He doesn't have any minions to take out, really. So compared with Cyanide's level 5 is phenomenal. And a lot of it is just Cyanide was able to get that experience top. Cyanide coming in, forcing back tabs, wants to make sure that XPK will be fine in that top lane, or mid lane.
Skarner waiting for that Blitzcrank pull. Kerp trying to get something. Can you get that hand? Gets the uppercut. Is he getting something? Anything? Does flash in. Wants Lamia. There's a summoner heal being popped. Cottonx getting brought very low, but the Ignite will finish it off, and Metalix going to grab that kill down bot. Very well coordinated.
Yeah, that's definitely really nice to get Metalex off to a nice start. But again, there are some concerns with Cottonx putting himself so far behind. And when you're behind and you continue to gank as a jungler, if you can help your lanes, then that's huge. But if you're unsuccessful, then you're just throwing yourself behind. It could be tough to catch up.
Yeah.
Cyanide, again, this level 1 success, or the level 2 successful gank, and then being able to take the experience top lane was absolutely huge for him. And Cyanide, you know, Cottonx, if he can't get level 6 on Skarner, then he's missing out on just so much of his killing potential.
Yeah, the 6 is really vital for a lot of those ganks. Curve going in. Cyanide camping out the bot lane, Twisted Advance down onto the Blitz, and actually going to be more than enough damage to take out that support. So there you go. Kill a little bit of a revenge there for Fnatic.
Yeah, really nice job. Cyanide in control of this game so far. He has the he has the Philosopher's Stone, so he's going to be able to get some nice map control. We'll see if he turns that kill into an early Oracles, just to continue up the pressure that he's had and be able to take map control for them. But a big part of his presence, it has opened up some opportunities for Jax up top. He is falling a little bit behind Aurelia, but he's doing fine. And once he can start to pull in this game, he's going for that phage. He will have plenty of damage output to deal with her. That
thing is, will Cottonx be holding this blue for himself? It looks like he will actually be passing it on to Tabs, which unfortunately is going to keep the Skarner a little bit further behind. But Tabs will grab the blue just in time. Cyanide throwing down that sapling, realizing, God damn, I'm just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and Leona actually coming in behind Tabs with XPK at level 6. They could go for this, but just barely not able to engage. Didn't want to just use the Ahri ultimate to try and get in range. Tabs doing a really nice job in the mid lane. Has been able to take some advantage over Ahri. Has the Chalice as well as the blue to just constantly spam out that ranged harass.
You see XPK actually grabbing the Stork Boots pretty early on. Wants that spell pin. Wants to make sure that if a gank does happen, that the possibility from 100 to 0 is a little bit more guaranteed if you can manage to go ahead and get the CC you need, land all your skill shots. And now that XPK has gotten the ultimate, you have the Spirit Rush available. That's a lot of extra burst coming in. But actually going around in through the jungle, it has been spotted. Cottonx going to meet him. Kurt with a little bit of a bad spot. Oh, almost getting the grab. But Spirit Rush over into the Dragon Pit will get XPK to safety.
Yeah, and even if he had hit the grab, XPK might have been able to get out of there, but with the pop-up and then the snare from Tabs, I don't think he would have. So almost being able to pick that up, the really nice execution, just not quite able to hit it. And XPK will be okay, but his ult is down, so it is kind of putting him behind a little bit. He's not going to be able to be as aggressive as he would like to be. Tabs will be fine to continue and pressure him in that mid lane.
So what it's really going to do as well is going to kill time for Cottonx to go ahead and regain some of that experience loss, possibly hit 6, and get prepared for some counter ganks going on as well. Lots of damage being traded there. Top lane, Youngbuck getting hugely chunked out. Nice dash away from Graves, but the ult will hit ya. Twisted Advance coming down onto Metalix. The Ezreal ult coming in, and that's going to be enough to just disintegrate that Graves.
Yeah, and having the CC of Leona combo with Maokai is just phenomenal for them. They can pick up kills very easily in any of their lanes. So Maokai, he has a lot of options available. There's not one lane that can necessarily shut him down. But Tabs, doing a really nice job, has been able to, just constantly pressure XPK. XPK is forced to use a lot his abilities to a large extent to get rid of those, seedlings and then also to farm. So we'll see, how that affects him. But XPK is starting to get into the point in the game where he's going to be looking to roam, where he's going to be looking to get those kills. And now having that blue, should be able to follow up on it.
Yep. There's actually a nice post on Reddit today about the health properties of all of Zyra's seedlings, and a lot of it, how different damage is dealt to the seedlings translates into different hits. They have about I guess 6 hits on each of those turrets. But the thing is, though, with Ahri's kit, allows you to provide multiple hits in a very short amount of time with the orb there and coming back. And the Foxfire, it's a few more multiple hits coming in as well. So of most AP mids, Ahri is definitely on that upper scale about efficiency and clearing away those turrets.
Yeah, and it is interesting when you're talking about how things deal damage to the seedlings.
Yeah.
That's one of Zyra's strengths when taking like Dragon and Baron, is when the seedlings are tanking it, it takes a large number of attacks. Like,
Right.
did you say it was 6? I think that's
It's like
right.
it's like 6 health.
Yeah.
So like an auto attack or something is like just like 1.
Right.
But a turret shot should theoretically wipe it out completely.
Yeah, in the meantime, Tabs coming into the bot lane. They will have the CC follow-up. N-rated actually dashing right into him. The follow-up with the Leona, actually. Lamia just killing them so quickly. Kerp will go down. XPK is here as well. Cottonex is going to go down. Metalex going to go down. Fantastic turnaround from Fnatic. And that was huge. A 4v4 that Fnatic was able to turn that around. Jax is down here as well. And Teamless trying to get an early advantage, just not able to pull it off. Great play from Fnatic. And the big thing was Leona. The second that N-rated saw Tabs walking into that lane, he just dived right on top of him, was able to pick up that kill before he was even able to get off the ultimate.
Yeah, no fear, going straight on in, because that's what a good Leona does. You single out your prey, get that stun off, and just clear the way for the rest of your team. And even if you did have the ult go down, you saw Lamia actually get in perfect position just away from the main team fight. He was right on the outskirts. Even if the ult did go down, Lamia was in perfect position to go ahead and not get popped out, not be a part of that CC or damage.
Yeah, in the meantime, Cottonex going to be moving into the mid lane. There's the charm, so XPK will be okay to get out of there, exchanging some damage, but doesn't want to walk into that bush. Is he trying to do it?
He's trying to bait him out a little bit.
So wants him to go into N-rated, but N-rated will force it down. The quick burst, XPK with the red buff will be able to take it down, but XPK almost going down himself, just barely able to get out of there. Cyanide does die, the Ezreal ult does miss, but Tabs is able to back off. N-rated still has a lot of damage though. If he gets into E, no, he will miss. But N-rated, oh wow, with the ultimate able to pick it up. XPK almost going down, but the quick dash, and Graves is able to pick it up with the red buff. He'll be able to grab N-rated as well.
Smoke screen doing all the damage you need to, and the buckshot gonna get a quick double kill from Metalex, and a double buff for his credit. It was a little bit of a payback there from what happened in bot lane, but still though, Fnatic has quite a huge lead. 2K, they had a dragon earlier, so it's just a matter of what can you do with this advantage. But Cottonex just now hit level 6. Cyanide just has a huge advantage over him in terms of gold, and also delaying the Shirelias for the initiation. You'll see Cottonex actually opted to go buy the Oracles. Hasn't popped it quite yet, which is a good thing too, because if he popped it during that fight, that would have been a huge waste.
Yeah, a 13-minute level 6 on Skarner is never ideal.
On anyone.
He will have some nice gold on anyone, really, but yeah, but especially champion, like Skarner, that's so ult reliant. But we'll see, how they can continue to pressure this. Now that he's level 6, just popping level 7, so there you go.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. He's still 2 levels behind Cyanide, but they will have some nice control over there. And the farm is generally pretty even. Like, top lane is very even. Graves has a slight advantage over Ezreal. Oh, not going to get the hook. But, Ahri is the big thing, and Ahri is, farming decently. Now having 3 kills from that last fight, and then also having that cage will be huge to get her into that item build.
And look at Cyanide right now. That is 7 assists and a kill to his credit. That just really shows how much he's been helping with the rest of the team, with all these ganks being very critical. But that's the thing with Maokai too, is that you don't really need him to be. You don't need the ultimate on Maokai to be a huge ganking presence. Granted, Skarner, he can get something happening when he's in those lower levels, but once he hits 6 is where he really shines. And that's true of a lot of junglers. A lot of them, their ganking presence is just so minimal until they hit 6. And unfortunately, Cyanide just managed to grab a huge advantage while the wait was happening for Cottonex.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for a second, just going to be showing some highlights of the game earlier. So, Metalex, getting that double kill, really nice job. And yeah, I mean, having the level 6s, it can't be understated for them. Young Buck, he was able to grab that turret earlier, but do you remember exactly when that fight was at bottom? No. Okay, well, anyway, so we'll see if I can find that real quick. But no, I guess it's not going to happen. So, I don't know, regardless. Oh, there actually was right here.
Got further back. Yeah, okay,
a little
bit further back.
A really nice job from Fnatic so far, being able to
slow-mo this one, actually.
Pressure.
So Tabs wants to get in, but Leona immediately focusing down. And the ult to keep the CC going. You see Lamia, that perfect position on the back line was just beautiful.
Yeah, and for Blitz and Zyra to go down so quickly in a 4v2 situation was just phenomenal. So they were able to put on the pressure there and, you know, get that advantage. We'll see if, you know, hopefully the DC is close to being resolved and we'll be able to get back into this game. But I don't know, regardless, some nice early advantages for Fnatic, and that's where they always thrive, particularly with you know, Ahri. Being able to get Ahri early in that game.
Hey.
And wow, I am just so good with that timing. Hopefully, you know, we'll get out of this pause in just a second here. But the big thing is XPK is starting to get into his item build. And everyone else, they have the damage as well. You know, everyone's getting pretty deep in their builds. Graves going with more of a traditional AD build, you know, which is usual, whereas Ezreal will have a little bit more burst damage. So, you know, we'll see how that impacts these early fights. But the mobility on Fnatic is definitely strong.
Oh, the twisted advance coming down onto tabs. It's a 3v1 at the moment. Soaz should be able to pick it up if XPK doesn't. But there you go, the critic going to Cyanide. That's just, there you go. Once again, it's that mod squad action coming on in. The jungler top lane and the AD carry. They have so much CC on them. Once again, the team just go ahead and just melt anyone they want.
Yeah, and so as keeping it eye on the curve here, gets off the stun. The twisted advance not too far behind, but can't quite finish it. So they will be able to steal the red here. Unfortunately, as a result, they're losing their own red, and they're also losing their tier 2 tower. Youngbuck will be able to take that. So I'm a little bit surprised that Soaz has decided to leave the lane, because he seemed like he was doing pretty well in that you know, top lane. Yes, he wants to help the rest of his team snowball, but they're already at an advantage, and this is just helping Teamless to get back into it. So Youngbuck is able to grab that turret, or will be, just a couple more attacks, and that's kind of a huge advantage for Teamless right now.
But you do see Fnatic, they are positioned here in the bot lane. They're really looking to push here, and if they can actually manage to get a quick kill or two onto Metal X on the Kerp, they can continue to push. They can take a tier 2 in response and just, you know, even up the game and maybe even push further.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Oh, they're
if they
baiting it
can
out.
pressure this. It is a 3v3 down here, but they do have some nice ward control with Cyanide having that Oracles. Ahri going to be grabbing another blue, then he'll probably go back. How much gold does XPK actually have? He has a decent amount, so he could actually finish off that Abyssal Scepter if he likes to, but they are waiting for him so they don't catch him. But we'll see if they, you know, are able to grab anyone else.
I think they're actually waiting to see him go from lane to the blue buff, but they're just a little bit delayed. Metal X getting caught. Nice! Footwork, flash, and the dash away from Cyanide, and I think Cyanide was just not prepared for it.
Just DC'd.
I think he DC'd again. Yeah, that may have very well been. So Cyanide brain broke down.
It's like it's just jukes, and they're like, no, I think that Cyanide DC'd.
That's a juke on another. The juke was so well executed that Cyanide's
his computer
just DC'd again.
He broke his ankles. Except, I guess what's breaking your ankles on basketball is to breaking your computer in League of Legends.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, you're behind me, twist. Well, he doesn't. He's a tree. Does he have ankles? He's got like roots and branches.
Broke his roots.
Broke his roots.
Yeah,
he can grow them back. That's no big deal.
But this is going to be a really difficult exchange for Fnatic. You know, Blitzcrank trying to get in. Fortunately, Blitzcrank's at the back, so he's not going to have quite the range. If he was at the front, then maybe he could just walk up and hook someone. But they still have to deal with tabs with that snare, so very close to getting picked off. And that is the nice thing that Teamless has their advantage, is they have great single target. Both teams have great single target CC, but you know, Teamless as well, having the pick-off potential with tabs and with also Kerp could be huge, you know, Skarner and Aurelia. So they want to just pick off people one at a time, slowly take advantages back into this game. And then later in the game, Graves' damage output will be phenomenal. Like, Graves, compared with Ezreal, you know, he has a little bit more traditional AD damage. Ezreal has a little bit more burst, and the survivability is huge on Ezreal. Like, Graves is still going to have to be concerned about Ahri and Jax and Maokai just all diving on him and picking up that kill really quickly, and that's a serious issue for Teamless. But we'll see. He is farming pretty well. He is 4-2 right now, so he's going to have some nice big AD items pretty quickly.
However, he hasn't purchased really a whole lot yet. He's got the blade, he's got the BF sword, he's got the tier 2 boots. You see Lamia though, in comparison, already 2/3 of the way into that Trinity. So it's going to be a little bit, you know, significantly more burst in these fights. And right now in this, hopefully, hopefully upcoming 3v4.
It is interesting, though, because the DC and the pause happen right as Tabs breaks vision.
Oh,
so
man.
They know that he's here. They had him caught on a ward up here as well. They said that they knew they were coming, but it kind of gives them an opportunity where Fnatic's like, yeah, so we know exactly what to do. We'll see if they can respond. No snare being able to hit, and clg.na doesn't quite have the mobility to get in. So Fnatic was saying, yeah, we would have backed out of there anyway, but it kind of ruins Teamless's hopeful gank. But there's the pull into Lamia. It doesn't even matter. The Skarner hook into the flash. So despite knowing he's there, they still go down. That was a pity death, I guess.
It could have been. But look, you do see Teamless, they want to take this advantage as far to the bank as they can. They are pushing bot relentlessly. They want to get more towers. They want to make up for their deficit, but you do still have XPK pushing in the mid. You do still have the top lanes not moving. They don't want to go ahead and ruin what's going on here. So you got Teamless, they grab another tower, bring the gold lead that much more even, only about 500 gold separating teams. You do have Soaz looking to get aggressive there on the Young Buck, the ult being popped from Aurelia, but that is another turret down here for Fnatic. They managed to take tier 1 there in mid.
Yeah, but it is surprising that Fnatic is just letting these tier 2 turrets go down so easily, and their gold lead is kind of withering away. Despite those advantages, they're deciding not to fight Teamless, and you know, Zera again can push towers down very easily as the game progresses. She can poke down turrets, and in the meantime, Soaz getting caught out top. Skarner and Blitzcrank are here as well. He'll surely go down.
Ult from Skarner is down, but he still has that slow. He can still do a lot, but Kerp here, the blitz, that uppercut, waiting for it, the stun coming in for Soaz. Does manage to pull Jax right on in to his doom. Very well done.
Yeah, and so Fnatic, they've taken a really passive role in this game since having that advantage. So allowing Teamless to get those turrets is absolutely huge for them. They will try and poke down this tier 2, but they do have to watch out for Zero on the side. Cyanide could maybe follow it up if XPK lands a charm, but they won't be doing that. They're just going to back off. And so, you know, this game, it's basically even again. It was almost a 3K gold advantage for Fnatic, but just allowing Teamless back into it.
And you also see that Metalex finally decided to go back and buy straight up Infinity Edge and Zeal and a longsword at that. So that's a lot of items to be buying in one straight visit. Stun, go down, the charm coming in on the Kerp. Tabs wants to make something happen here on XPK. The sound's going to be going in, but only going to be very brief. The orb coming in, and that plant will go down. XPK will actually be able to get away, but you do see right now Teamless, they're pinging down the dragon, and they can take this really quick.
Yeah, and he was able to get away without even using his ultimate. So throwing off the charm on the Blitzcrank to give him a little bit of distance, and then actually juking out the hook, even with the silence there. So really nice job from XPK. They do grab the dragon, though, and now all of a sudden this game is 100% even. And the tankiness and long-range pickoff potential for Teamless is a little bit stronger than Fnatic. They get to you know, pick and choose fights a little bit more easily, whereas Fnatic, they need to hard engage in order to fight.
You do see Fnatic, though. They were actually pinging the Baron not too long ago, so that's they may decide to try and rush it if they see if Teamless is looking to try and push a lane or some other objective. But you see right now Fnatic getting into the defensive position, looking to defend a tier 3 here in bot lane. They did let them grab the tier 2 earlier, and the blitz hook over the wall is always a real threat. But here they go. Kerp going to be the first one out there. Cotton X, the ult is back up on Skarner, so he could get that grab if he wants to.
Yeah, and Aurelia is a little bit stronger than Jax right now. So the lane has been very even in that top lane, but getting the Wit's End has a little bit more survivability than Jax since he hasn't finished that Triforce yet. So it's a perfect opportunity for Teamless to force these fights. The Deathfire's Grasp is also not down onto Ahri, and that's going to be a huge pivotal point for Ahri once that happens.
Yep, you got the Abyssal there. Going to be reducing as much magic resist as possible. But you see, they're also building somewhat tanky. You got a few resist items there coming on in. Maokai with that Aegis, so it's going to be helping out everybody. Trinity has been finished there for Lamia, so it's going to be a lot of burst. Soaz wants to close that gap, but that lead trade will not be getting as far as he would hope. You do have a Metalex grabbing the red right now. And if Fnatic was if they were a little bit more pushy, if they were further on into the jungle, they could have caught him out. And once again, pause coming in. I'm guessing Cyanide still having a few troubles.
Yeah, so hopefully everything's okay, and that could be a big explanation for why Fnatic is kind of held back in this game.
Young Buck this
time, and so Teamless, they've been able to take advantages partly because of the DC, but it seems a lot of it is just the result of Fnatic, not grouping and not being kind of lackluster in how they're grouping as a team. Now they are grouped. We have a 5v5 setup. Blitzcrank has the long range advantage. Zyra does as well. But we'll see if Fnatic can catch anyone off. The big issue for Fnatic, though, is the damage for Teamless is in the back line, and in order to engage on them, they need to just dive at Teamless, and that's a very dangerous prospect. Whereas Teamless, the damage for Fnatic is in the front line with Jax and Ahri. They have to play really up close to pick people off, and that opens up opportunities for Skarner to flash in or for Blitzcrank to just get a hook.
Yep, and also Tabs with that ultimate too can just go ahead, reset the fight, get everyone popped up, keep everyone on their toes. But granted, though, they have definitely the jungler who can go ahead and set up for those dives. That Maokai ult can reduce a lot of damage coming on in. He's not quite 11 yet, though. He doesn't have the level 2 in it here.
And also not having a large armor item can make those tower dives pretty difficult. So if he had a chain vest or something along those lines, then that could definitely help him out a lot. But we'll see. They'll probably play a little bit more defensively and just see if they can pick anyone off here. But really, this fight right now will be in the advantage of Teamless, just because Fnatic doesn't have that strong initiation like Teamless does. So we'll see if Fnatic decides to transition out of this lane, decides to go somewhere else, or if they try and poke them down and fight it here.
It could be a little bit of a risk too to try and send in a sacrificial lamb. Like you get N-rated out there in front, you throw down the ult, and it's like, you know what, you don't have our clan tag. You're still technically Millennium. Maybe we could just go ahead and throw you in there. You don't count.
Ouch! I'm sure he thinks he counts a decent amount.
He's counting immensely. I'm just I'm just trying to throw in the mentality there.
No,
like
that's absolutely true. They're like, hey, we're gonna play this 4v5. You're the odd man out. Okay, so.
Oh yeah. We're gonna keep that hidden there.
But yeah, so we'll see. What kind of goes on. Ahri does have that armor, so that'll be pretty nice. But I don't know. Right now, Graves actually has a little bit better damage output than Ezreal, so that's going to be a concern for them. And if they can't get into the back line on Graves because of the front line CC that Teamless has, that could be really dangerous. And particularly how Zyra can protect Graves in that back line could be kind of difficult. So I'm a little bit surprised that Fnatic is pushing this down here, particularly since Jax hasn't really finished any large items yet. They really need Jax to get into some defensive items in order for them to fight. So we'll see if right after this DC happens that Fnatic doesn't just decide to back right off.
There we go. Young Buck is back, but Soaz is very close to actually finishing that Trinity, and actually on next back should be able to get it. But yeah, he does need some more defensive stuff to come on in. So maybe let's just think of other options too. Well, then again, everyone's building the GA these days, but I think it's a little bit too soon for Jax to be building one of those.
Yeah, I mean, he could, though, because of the burst damage that Teamless has, but there's a lot of options. It's just really that he needs to finish that Trinity Force. So, right now, Aurelia has a huge advantage. We'll see what they decide to do. We'll throw off the sapling and then get right out of there, which is absolutely the right decision, because there's no way that Fnatic can, force that fight underneath that turret. So they're going to push Teamless back and then be able to, take some advantages around the map while Teamless is, still sitting by that bottom lane.
Actually, if they're still sitting by there, and you see Fnatic, all of them are in mid, if they really want to, if they feel brazen enough, they could try and rush that Baron. But they were pinging it down earlier, and that could definitely give them a huge edge in these fights. But you'll see they're just going to look to push down the mid lane here. You do see Soaz actually heading on up. I think he's actually going to see if he can't take out the top tier 1 in a hurry.
Yeah, and he's actually just going to pick up some of that farm. Teamless in a nice position here to defend the Baron. The big thing is Jax is fantastic at doing Baron. He's one of the best in the game. But without any of those items, he's not going to be able to kill it fast enough. And he's going to get very low before the fight. So he needs some armor really to do it. But they are closing in on him fast. He does use that leap strike to get over to a minion. So he will barely be able to get out in time.
Yep, tier 1 for Fnatic at the top lane is also actually tier 1 and tier 2. They let them go earlier for Youngbuck to just go ahead and just swoop it. Just you see, these towers, they seem nicer on you. You go ahead, you take them, and they just let them have it while they're pushing down bot. So it's a little bit of a longer route for SOAS to go ahead and get to safety. But wards still going down in the Baron pit. Both teams recognizing it's a very real possibility that could be the next major objective coming on in. Red buff going to be going over to Lamia if it doesn't reset. Come on, there you go. We got it. And let's check Jax's gold real quick, because if he can actually go, not quite there. Yeah. Not quite there. He's about like 50, 100 gold off. So after these wraiths, SOAS should actually be able to go back, grab the Trinity, and then rejoin the team.
And part of the issue is because Teamless has been so aggressive, XPK throwing off the charm doesn't want to have to use the ultimate, so that would really throw them behind in the next team fight. But Teamless in a great position to actually take this turret if they decide to. Kerp still zoning off XPK, so he can't join with his team yet. If by Teamless running around and they're roaming as 5 and just trying to take map objectives as a team, it shuts down Jax's farming. The hook onto Cyanide, some quick damage. Cyanide is rooted though, and SOAS jumping in as well.
Assuming the Cyanide was probably still DC to go in for that quick kill. You got the Zyro coming on, popping everybody up, and Cyanide will actually be the next one to go down. XPK going down in the fight as well, so it's a 5v3. Kerp is very low. Cotnex is a little bit low. Youngbuck is definitely within a kill range, and Tabs is hurt. But Fnatic, they really can't make anything happen from there. So 2 really quick kills. And you know what? Cyanide was the DC or not, if he was having connection troubles, regardless, Cyanide is the correct one to pull in that situation. He was easy to grab. He's the main source of CC there from Fnatic. And without that damage reduction, they can just go ahead and take that fight that much easier.
And one of the nice things with Skarner, not just as an offensive champion, that's kind of interesting. I haven't seen that recall, animation.
That's
before.
actually, yeah. That's like all the champs nowadays.
No, yeah, I know that.
Like they have that special
I haven't
little.
seen hers, but Skarner, one of the nice things is not just as an offensive champion and using that pull offensively, but he can also use it defensively. And so he can pull people off of Zyra or pull people off of Graves if they're feeling really threatened, and that works very well against a champion like Jax. And the big thing is, Fnatic right now, they can't just single target burst people like they would like. They can't focus down members of Teamless. Just because of Teamless's front line and their tanks and CC. So Teamless really quickly able to win that fight, and by grouping up constantly, they're able to shut down Jax's farm. He doesn't have the opportunities to continue farming like he would like to, so he's forced to roam around the map and try and pick up spare minions here and there when he can.
So you do have pings going down from Teamless. They're looking to see if they can't get the jump back once again down on the Fnatic. Lamia's actually away from the team. Kerp out in front, taking quite a bit of damage. So is out in front. XPK grabbing that kill onto the Blitz. And Science still out there. The Flash. The Twisted Advance down. Going to keep Metal X still. You got the ult going down for the reduction. Ezreal ult coming down in for a little bit extra, but XPK will be focused down by Youngbuck and Cotnex. So as getting slow as well. The Ignite going down. Double kill coming in for Youngbuck. Cyanide getting very low. Lamia getting very low. But you also got the Leona going down as well. So there's a 4v2 here. 1 kill for 3.
Yeah, and they just won a 4v5, and
yeah,
half of it has to do with how strong Youngbuck is, and he's able to just dive onto XPK. XPK wasn't able to get off the rest of his ultimate charges, so he still had 2 charges left when Youngbuck killed him. And being able to put that pressure, they can't focus him down right now. XPK really needs to get into Zyra. If they can't kill Zyra in these fights very quickly, then she's going to be able to control these fights. They do grab the dragon, and all of a sudden, it was a 3K gold advantage for Fnatic earlier, and Teamless is just crushing them in these team fights.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see how they can turn it around once that Deathfires is done. Oh, there it is.
Hey.
Then maybe they can get some more backline pressure because they really need to just instantly burst down Zyra.
Yeah, but letting Teamless have those turrets for free. This really gave the opportunity for Teamless to actually go ahead, get the income they needed to come on back and try and just throw things right back into their favor. And indeed, it has. They actually grab themselves a dragon there to even widen that gap. Kerp has been pretty damn good on that front line, but all the damage is there and necessary. And Fnatic, they've been a little bit split, but ping's going down over in the river. Kerp does see them. There is a ward in that brush. And Fnatic is going to try and force this Baron. Let's see how quickly they can take it out, if at all.
Yeah, and Graves is bottom, so they're going to have a nice advantage there. XPK using the charm, trying to zone out Kerp there, and it's going down to 4,000, 3,000. The hook onto XPK, followed by the Skarner ultimate, so they'll be able to grab the Baron, but XPK does go down, so it is a 4v4, and they've lost their main source of damage. Tab's going down as well, so as a huge victory for him. Unfortunately, Youngbuck is looking good. We'll be able to chase him down. Cyanide trying to get over that wall will go down himself, and so as the last man standing for Fnatic in this area. Leona Leona and Ezreal were able to get out of there with that Baron, but it's still another one fight for Teamless. And, you know, XPK getting caught out, just having that frontline engage for Teamless is huge.
Yeah, just the ward there in the pit gave all the vision necessary for Teamless to go ahead and grab the champ they wanted at the opportunity they wanted. I am, you know, Lamia and Enrade, though, getting out of that fight real quick, though. You could have. That's one of the things about Ezreal, though, is that you can actually get that poke damage on over outside of the pit. Just, you know, you keep on throwing the shots into the pit to try and take out a little bit extra damage. And even if they're close enough, you just go ahead and auto attack them straight up. clg.na does actually fall there underneath the tower. They do need to still be careful here. Fnatic, they're still not quite out of this yet.
Yeah, XPK able to take him down. And I have to say, though, this is like the first time I've seen XPK in a while, you know, not just absolutely storming a game. Blitzcrank trying to take this. They do see the minions are still there, which means that they should expect that with the minions there, they don't know. See, it's not cleared, so they have to know that Blitzcrank is on the other side going for it. They will have him surrounded. He's going to try and finish it. He does actually finish it quickly. And
oh, no. Oh, no. Is he going to get away with it? I hope not. Leona actually not hitting, but XPK will be there with all the burst damage. Did actually have to use the ult just to try and kill that Blitzcrank, but with a little bit better awareness. They could have done it without using it.
I don't know if they thought it was a bug, but because they had cleared out all the minions there and it still would have had the map symbol for the golem, they had to have known that Blitzcrank had pulled it onto the other side. So being able to pick up that kill, Zyra is up top. They will be able to get some damage on this turret, but Aurelia able to clear that very quickly. Zyra is back with the team, and you know, we'll see if Fnatic can pick anyone off, because they do have good pickoff potential. It's just it's not quite the same range as Teamless, so they need to be a little bit more sneaky about it. They need to grab people in the jungle. And
that Aurelia also killed just enough time for Kerp to actually respawn and get back into this game, because he's a huge part of the initiation coming in here from Teamless. The ability to go ahead and single out a champ in combination with Skarner, with clg.na.
Yeah, and coming this late into the game, YoungBuck is incredibly strong, but also clg.na. He has been able to, you know, pull back into this game. He's very tanky at this point. So they have a number of there's a number of members on Teamless that Fnatic are really struggling with dealing enough damage to, and really struggling with dealing with. So, you know, we'll see how that continues to progress. If they can, you know, pick someone off here like Jax or something, then they could very easily win this. So as picking up that GA will be very strong. Ezreal, he now has another damage item past that Trinity Force. So he's, you know, trying to keep in line with Graves, though Graves still has a nice advantage there.
They're just biding their time. Teamless just know that if they have an opportunity, they can go ahead and just grab it and just completely route a fight. You do have tabs emerging from that bush. That sapling will figure it out, but the creep wave top lane is pushing. You're going to go ahead and take as much advantage as they can with it. Fnatic, they are on the defensive end, but they do still have the Baron buff on a few of their champs. Let's see, how long does actually still have left on it?
On
Baron buff.
Fnatic, that's right.
Anyway,
okay.
that's
about
to
another
go.
20 seconds, so it's basically done.
Yeah.
But we'll see whether or not Teamless. I feel like they could just push right up in this mid lane, and so that's actually what it seems like they're doing. And the big thing is that you know, Zyra. No, they're actually going to back off maybe. So Zyra, if they decide to push, Zyra can just drop the seedlings over time, and then when they decide to, you know, go in for the turret, she just sprouts them all, and the seedlings won't die because you know, there's no champions to run over them. If Fnatic tries to kill those seedlings, then Blitzcrank will just get a hook or something very easily. So she can just leave them at the turret and then, you know, slowly poke down the turret herself. So you know, we'll see. But Fnatic coming on the offensive now. They have the GA on both Soaz and XPK, so they can be a little bit more aggressive, jump into that back line, and hopefully kill Zero pretty quickly, because they need to take out their main damage dealers.
Yep, and if Fnatic can also go ahead and push these waves in, they can kill time for the Baron to actually respawn to Hook. Going down onto XPK, but will actually Spirit Rush either. Hook going in from Skarner down to End Raid, will be isolated for the rest of the team, and the kill coming in. YoungBuck will grab that one. Fnatic has no choice right now but to run away. You got the Shirley's being popped there from Teamless. They got another one. YoungBuck wants to close the gap, does try to get on Soaz, but Soaz does leave strike away, and tabs will actually go down during that chaos.
Yeah, really nice job from Teamless at the beginning, but then Fnatic able to kite back out of there. And the big thing was Teamless, they were on the offensive the entire time, and Fnatic, they weren't comfortable with dealing their damage. XPK was caught out, and you know, they were constantly forced to retreat, but then Lamia able to turn it around for them with the quick burst, was able to grab Zero just a little bit out of position. So nice job there. It helped stall off the game a little bit. But Teamless, as a result, they're going to be able to grab this dragon. They're going to be able to continue with their gold advantages. And we'll have to see, you know, how it'll work. But Aurelia versus Jax late game is very even, and Aurelia just has a little bit more survivability right now, despite the GA from Jax, just because they have Teamless has other targets that Fnatic wants to grab, whereas, you know, Soaz, he might be one of the main targets for Teamless.
So, killing time, Baron should actually be coming back up in about a minute and a half, and you'll see right now, you do see Kerp actually getting some wards. He's getting ready, knowing that, you know, when that thing respawns at Fnatic, it can get it a little bit more cleaner this time. I'm sure XPK will be like, I am totally not going to be standing out in front of the pit. Do not want to get grabbed again. Saw what happened last time. Fnatic, they're a little bit wiser going on into the next prospective Baron spawn.
Yeah, but they didn't lose either GA, which is a huge thing for them.
Yes.
So they can still be very aggressive. And again, the thing isn't, it's, you know, the GA helps protect against them getting picked off, but even more so, it allows Ahri to play near that front line because she needs to be dealing damage to both, you know, Tabs and Metalex. And the issue before was she can't play close enough to them because she's just going to get herself killed. Now with the GA, she can be a little bit more comfortable to get into that back line and try and pick up those kills. So we'll see, you know, whether or not that's the case. You know, Graves, he doesn't have any magic resist right now, so or, you know, other than his base. So he will be pretty squishy to XPK's damage. Ping's
going down into Baron Pit from Teamless. They know something's going to be happening. So Kerp almost getting that grab on the Cyanide, but the team is a little bit split. Teamless is split now. Teamless is splitless.
They're splitless.
They're split. The teamless is split team. Says, forget it. Never mind. We're moving on in.
Kerp was teamless because they were split.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
There we go. That's a little bit better.
I'm not really sure where we're going, but
forget. You would just forget it because you have Fnatic right here. They're trying to push down mid wave. They're trying to kill a little bit more time to get them a nice little opportunity to go grab this Baron real quick. They do still have the oracles right now onto Maokai, so they can get that ward coverage cleared. It's just a matter of, you know, when is the opportunity right. You do have members of Teamless actually back in the base. You have Aurelia, you have Skarner, so it's going to take a little while for them to actually rejoin, but unfortunately Fnatic doesn't quite know about the splitting situation with Teamless at the moment.
Yeah, and they are going to be able to prevent this. So partially, you know, they're going to take some damage on that base turret. Not that big of a deal, but I don't know. We'll see if Fnatic can force this. They can't have head-on-head fights. They need to be able to pick off the back line, and Teamless's front line is just really strong in this game. That's a lot of what Skarner brings to the table. But we'll see. Teamless forcing right up to the front, so they will force the vision, but it opens up an opportunity for Fnatic to come in from behind.
This is Teamless trying to force something here, and Fnatic will actually have enough time to get back into the defensive position here, into the mid at the tier 3. So Teamless just looking to displace Fnatic, looking to make them mobilize, put them out of position, and possibly get a catch while they're in transit from one objective to the other.
Yep.
And you saw right there, Kerp was actually out in front, looking to see if we could actually get a grab, but unfortunately the position, the timing just wasn't right.
Yeah, and so Kerp going to have his own oracles, be able to clear out some of these wards. You know, so Fnatic will have to watch out because Graves has plenty of damage to take down that Baron pretty quickly. Same thing with Zyra. They can kill the Baron in, you know, just a matter of seconds. Like, it'll probably take them about 10 seconds to kill the Baron. So, you know, we'll see if they can grab someone. They have the ward over here in the bush.
Oh,
so,
man.
you know, Kerp, he wants someone to check. He wants to be able to pull them in. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm a little bit surprised that Teamless isn't just pressuring this because they could kill Baron so quickly that if Fnatic is not absolutely on their game, they won't be able to defend it.
Yeah, and Cyanide will actually just walk in, grab that ward. Keep the seedlings actually going down from Tabs over the wall. And, you know, XPK's Wise wants to get rid of those things real quick, but Kerp can very easily get a grab over that wall with the present ward. So this is going to be a huge risk for Fnatic to try and take it out. And here was Soaz actually edging out. And you see that Sapling actually not aggravating the Baron. I thought that would actually make him pretty angry, make him want to hit Kerp.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess it doesn't draw aggro, but I'm a little bit surprised. Tabs right here is throwing off the seedlings, you know, to try and get vision. And
that one did.
I understand he's trying to bait them in, I think, for Kerp to get the pull. But he could just be throwing up 4 seedlings right here in the Baron, and then they could just decide if Fnatic's playing too defensively to just drop it. Because Fnatic, they don't have vision in the Baron pit. They know that. So if Fnatic, it just waits like 1 second too long, then Teamless could maybe steal a really quick Baron.
The sapling actually, when it hit Kerp, the AoE then aggravated the Baron. It was kind of odd, a little bit strange, but Kerp sitting back, looking to regen just a little bit of that health before trying to make something happen here, is out in front, sticking his neck out. You do have the seedling going down. Soaz is out in front. Use the stun. Says one less soul. That is that's the time for right now for Teamless to go on in. And XPK caught out and back, trying to Spirit Rush away. Does get popped out. The G8 will actually proc Ezreal ult going down in the middle of everything. Here comes Ari. She is back, but is the damage going to be enough? Metalux being focused down by Soaz. May actually be going down in just a second, but you do have the Maokai ult. Peeping everybody. Nice and protected. Cyanide getting chucked out very well, but you do have Fnatic going down very quick. Is still somewhat even. Lamia now going down. Young Buck here looking at a 2v1. Shutdown coming from Graves down to Ezreal, but Jax will go ahead and grab that kill. The Kerp with the grab over the wall, but Soaz will be able to take that one. But Young Buck grabs that kill. That is a GA coming back up for Soaz. Young Buck still has his, but you have a Cyanide here still for Fnatic.
Yeah, so a nice fight for Fnatic. They're able to take that down. The big thing was the pressure that Soaz put on the back line with Graves. But I'm going to go back and look at that real quick because he was able to almost pick up the kill, but then not able to follow up on it. And so the GA from Metalex just able to keep him alive. Soaz didn't want to hang out and pick up that kill, so I'm a little bit surprised he didn't hang out for that. But they were able to win in the end. And the big thing is that they're tanking enough now. Soaz is able to, penetrate that backline. They're able to get the damage that they need to onto Graves in particular. But XPK getting caught out early on and having that GA was huge. He was able to still deal the damage that he needed to. He was still able to burst people down. But if he wasn't caught out in the beginning, then maybe that fight would have completely turned for Fnatic. Yeah,
and you saw he was mid Spirit Rush animation when the Impale and the grabs and everything came on in. It's just like, I'm going to get away free. Nope, you're coming back with me. You're going to get chunked out, and you're going to be out of this fight first.
And he's actually going for that Quicksilver Sash. So, he is going to be able to get out of that CC a little bit better. The big issue is that they're just chaining CC on him. But the pop-up and the pull, those aren't abilities he's going to be able to get out of. We'll see if this game can go. So, yeah, so he's going to be able to put on some nice pressure there, and we'll see if they force another fight. Some of the GAs are down, though. Aurelia was able to keep hers, and so that was the big thing. Young Buck, he could have decided to fight Jax at the end there and probably picked up the kill. It would have been kind of iffy, Young Buck or Soaz probably would be able to grab it, but he was able to hold on to his own GA, so that's definitely a nice advantage for them coming into the next fight.
You do have Fnatic looking to mobilize once again back in the mid. It's going to be a little while for those GAs to come back up, but you do still have one on the Young Buck, and that is going to be huge going on into the next fight. You do have Teamless looking to sit around the Baron area, see if they can't get ahead and get a grab on someone. You do have Fnatic. They're just dancing around, seeing what can happen, but there you go. Baron has been started here for Teamless, and Fnatic wants to do something. They need to do it now, and Soaz is not with the team.
Oh, and XPK getting caught off right in the beginning, goes down instantly, no GA this time. So Teamless in a huge position here. Fnatic able to actually steal it, so Maokai able to grab that. Teamless is trying to retreat, N-Rated trying to get off on the one side. Soaz able to turn around the other side, but Young Buck dissuaded, won't chase them down. And actually Graves trying to take out N-Rated. He does have the red buff. N-Rated will be able to back off though, but Metalex still in pursuit, will likely take him down. He does have Ezreal also, so he can hopefully get out, but no, he will go down. So, nice fight from Teamless. The big thing was able to quickly burst him down. But Soaz, if he can pick up the kill on the tabs, that could be a win for them. But doesn't have the flash to follow up on it.
Unfortunate indeed. But Soaz, and that's the thing too. A Jax late game is a very dangerous Jax. He's itemizing very well. He's got that Cutlass. He's going to be looking for that Gunblade. But you do see Teamless right here with the advantage, with the real quick man advantage, tried to take down that tier 3 and top very quickly before Fnatic could respond, but unfortunately not able to connect.
Yeah, so they will back off. How much longer does XPK have on that GA? It is almost up. So the next team fight, it will be up. So as is as well if they wait a little bit longer. He has about a minute on his. So, that'll be a nice advantage for them. They are incredibly strong in the late game. So as is starting to get into those late builds. He's starting to build into that Gunblade. And, we're seeing the pressure they're able to put onto Graves, which is just huge despite how strong he is. But we'll see. Graves' GA will be up as well in the next fight. So that's a big win for Teamless also.
Lamia is building one. Tabs is building one also. So when those come into play as well, that's just going to be even more of a rough team fight for both teams to try and capitalize. Kerp with the grab down on XPK does now get the Spirit Rush to safety. Zyra ult trying to get something happening there while everyone's running away, but no, it will not connect on anybody.
Yeah, and Zyra with the long-range snare was able to set Blitz up for that hook. XPK now with the ultimate down, they have to play defensively. The GA should be up around now, but even so, they have to wait another minute before that next fight. So if Teamless can force a fight in the next minute, then Fnatic will be in just such a terrible position.
Kai and X, he's deep into the jungle. He's leading the pack, trying to see if he can't get a grab at anyone. But Kerp also doing the same with that little inherent speed steroid. But there you go, Jax. So as he's caught, can he get the safety? No. The minion will be grabbed.
Oh, but Cyanide walking right into Cottonex. He will get the pullback. He is taking a lot of that damage, so it's working out for them. Metalex going down, does have that GA. Soaz on top of him. XPK over the wall, though. He can't get the dashes that he needs to in order to win this fight. And Soaz just barely able to back off. Kerp, unfortunately, Soaz will go down. Lamia still has some nice damage. Will try and back over the wall. Young Buck, the GA wasn't popped, but Lamia has his own as well, so he's going to try and get some damage. Throwing off the heal. We'll be able to chase them down. Actually, can he pop Young Bucks? Yes, he does. They aren't going to follow up on it, though.
Don't need to.
I feel like they could have, but yeah, they don't want to press their luck. XPK was low on mana. And you saw how much that fight was affected by XPK not having that Spirit Rush. All he could do was poke people over the wall. He was hardly involved at all. But we'll see in that next fight, once it's up again, whether or not Fnatic can push that a little bit harder.
Popping the GA was really more important than the kill, because now you have Lamia with his own GA to have to contend with here. And right now you do have Zyra doesn't quite have the gold to get her own. So for the time being, you do see this this revive advantage here for Fnatic. And Baron buff, how much longer do we have on that thing?
Probably like a minute. So it will be up pretty shortly, and then they'll all the teams will group up for it. So they'll probably start grouping up now and positioning themselves for that Baron. XPK just grabbing the last bit of farm and making sure the momentum is on their side, so that when they do go over to that Baron, they won't have to worry about bot lane pushing against them. Okay,
Lamia's buff did just run out, so we got.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, we got like 2-3 minutes still left here.
I thought that it was off like a minute or so.
Nah, so like 46 is when. 46 minutes is when the Baron should actually be coming back up. Blue buff being stolen here from Teamless. The Blitzcrank grab, a very excellent tool to go ahead and do that with. But now we're edging off from late game to super late game, and you have a lot of these builds starting to finish. Lamia is getting very close to doing so. You now have a Trinity and a Gunblade there for Jax, for Soaz, along with his own GA, and he's actually got another Chain Vest there. Let's see, Atmas even could be.
Yeah, no, that could definitely work out. I don't know. We'll have to see. He definitely needs some armor, and so if he went with Atmas, it would definitely increase his damage a lot. But he could decide to go with something like a Randuin's. We'll see if they force this. Kerp with the Shurelya's will jump right into the team. Cyanide is not the one they want to be doing damage to. Enrita jumping into the backline. The hook back on Lamia, and the pull as well from Skarner, but Lamia will be fine to back out of there. And Fnatic is looking very strong, but they have to worry that Soaz is pretty low. They are not going down, but they are all very low, and Teamless has to back off. None of their members going down. They are able to pop some of those GAs, but some of their GAs were down as well. So XPK is still holding on to his, and Lamia is still holding on to his. Yeah,
Soaz lost his, so that's well, all intents and purposes a win. It's a very small win there for Teamless. You still have a good 4 minutes until Young Bucks actually comes back up. So once again, you have another timing window, and there's going to be a very, very short time for when Baron comes up for Fnatic to go ahead and get engaged and get that kill before Young Buck has his GA back. So we got about, if they can manage to kill it within the first like 45 seconds of Baron coming up, Fnatic should be at an advantage. Should be. Keyword there, should.
No, Soaz will be down for quite some time, and you're seeing, the fights just Teamless, it's such an effort to take any of the members of Fnatic down at this point. They're slowly getting low.
Tabs
and
has
if the GA is up, then, you know, Ezreal will be able to just slowly wear people down for Fnatic, whereas Graves is a little bit less comfortable. But we'll see now that, you know, Tabs has one. They can be a little bit more aggressive. They are able to grab this dragon. And again, this game is dead even, back and forth the entire time. All of the GAs, so just, you know, constant positioning in fights. They can't, neither team can really force a fight because it's very close to just snowballing against them. If either team wins the next fight in a significant fashion, that could just be game. And Fnatic is set up for that 46-man Baron. They're just jumping on it right away. They have the damage. It's getting very low. 4,000 HP. If I can click on it, 3,000 HP. Cyanide is here. Kerp is here as well. XPK getting on the backside. They are able to grab that before Teamless can engage.
MetalX was completely out of position. They just could not get what they wanted to grab from Blitz, not getting anything. But Cyanide getting there. He's going right on in. N-Raid right in the middle of the fight as well. Wants that ult, wants to focus down MetalX as quick as possible. But Lamia getting the quick kill on to the Skarner Fnatic. They have an opportunity here to go ahead and take this fight away. Clean and easy. Kerp, Tabs, and Alex still out in front. And Youngbuck grabbing that kill onto N-Rated still, though, but is a 1-for-1 at the moment. Fnatic, they realize they have the buff. They can just go ahead and back off. That is huge, huge for them.
Yeah, and N-Rated jumping into the backside, they didn't really have an opportunity to engage because of how low Soaz was. He would have potentially gone down, you know, particularly without that GA. But they were able to get the rest of the team out, so having that Baron is definitely a nice advantage. But it is a 4v5, so they're probably going to be able to grab this inhibitor. They will be able to pressure this pretty easily. I'm sorry, it's a 4v4 if they can get the engage. The flash in from Cyanide with the twisted advance onto MetalX, and they are forcing him back. He is okay, though. He has the dash. He's able to get into the back line. Kerp does go down, and now XPK getting some quick damage, has the GA himself. Youngbuck trying to chase him out, and MetalX, the GA has popped. Soaz able to take down Tabs in the backline, and then Soaz jumping in, gets the quick burst onto MetalX. Youngbuck is the only one remaining, will get taken down, and Fnatic has been able to win this fight in a huge way with that Baron buff as well. Soaz, his GA still has 2 minutes left, but Lamia was able to hold his, and Lamia not going down in any of these fights. They're going to be able to run in and try and pressure one of these towers.
And also good job at XPK actually drawing aggro away from the rest of the clump that is Fnatic. Granted, his GA also went down, but the important part is that you still have one up and remaining. Lamia with that GA still alive is going to be huge. Plus, you still have another 2 minutes on this Baron buff. That is plenty of advantage to go ahead and force down these towers. But still, yet, look at the gold. We're on the 49th minute, and look how much gold actually still separates both of these teams.
And the big thing for both teams is because they have, you know, so much gold and they're so strong at this point, keeping the ADs alive, and that's always what it comes down to in the late game. And Ezreal is one of the safest ADs in the game. MetalX has been kiting very effectively in these fights. You see him dashing multiple times away from the pressure, but once Fnatic is able to engage on him, once they feel comfortable to get both Soaz and XPK onto him in the back line, they're able to take him down. XPK was actually able to hold on to that GA as well in that last game. So like you said, coming into the middle of the fight, baiting out Youngbuck away from his team, but then dashing out, he was able to, you know, survive around that backside. Really nice job from him. And the next fight, they will have all of their GAs once again, whereas they are all down for Teamless.
Unfortunate, very unfortunate. And you still have that Baron buff. You still have all of that extra power within that, the regen, the damage, everything you need. It's got a minute left on that thing, so if there's going to be a play made, it's going to have to happen very soon. You're going to grab the blue buff here for XPK. He's going to have that, going to have all that innate regen coming on in. So now Fnatic mobilizing here in the mid, looking to push. They want an inhib. If they can grab an inhib here, that can mean so much for them right now.
Yeah, and a big thing for Fnatic is that Cyanide and N-Rated, they can just dive into the back line of the team, and they can force, you know, Teamless to make the decision where they have to either, one, burn cooldowns on them, and at that point in time, that's when Soaz and XPK are able to jump into the fights, or they can just keep on running at them and then wait until they have an opportunity to engage onto MetalX. And so, as a result, it's putting Teamless in a poor situation. They have, with the auras that they have and with Cyanide's ultimate, they, you know, are very tanky themselves, and Teamless just, you know, they don't have a lot of options. They can either take down Maokai and Leona and then have to deal with Soaz and XPK or whatnot, or they can allow them to engage on the Metalex and then lose the fight from their AD going down.
Baron buff is now gone. 53 minutes, that thing's going to be back up. Shirley is being popped. Fnatic just want to go ahead and try and slam out that mid tier 3 tower as quickly as possible. Kerp did get a grab earlier, but now Fnatic can just duck in, duck out however they please and just try and catch Teamless off guard here. That was a pretty good engage. I like that. And look how much damage they took off that tier 3.
And the big thing was also how much damage they could do to Youngbuck, despite the fact that he has a Warmogs and a Triforce. Just the quick burst from XPK, and then they were able to back off. He was chunked very quickly, and so you saw he wasn't able to get as aggressive as he would like to. It is almost down. The next time they decide to push, they will be able to take that down from being able to poke that down. But the Deathfire's grasp from Ahri, it was all of that damage was XPK. It was the Deathfire's grasp into the E and the Q, and so if Aurelia, is going to go down to that damage, that could be really dangerous for Teamless because they won't have the frontline tanking that they need.
So as grabbing the red buff real quick, and right before Kerp made an attempt on the grab there, there was an errant grab, though, from Teamless here onto anyone. Could very well mean a one fight, though. If they can manage to get a grab on someone who doesn't have a G or happens to have theirs down, it could be absolutely huge, but unfortunately enough time has been killed where they are all back up.
Yeah, they have to pressure this. They have about 1 minute, less than a minute, before Teamless's GAs are up. And in that period of time, Fnatic just has such a phenomenal advantage in these fights if they can pressure this tower. So Teamless, they just need to stall for about a minute, 30 seconds now, and then they will be able to fight them once again. And so actually it seems like they have been able to stall, and Teamless, they're back in this. So just a huge turn of events. They're able to stall for 4 minutes there without Fnatic taking any serious advantages, but they are set up once again for this Baron. It won't be up for another minute though, so it will be up around 53 or so. So then they can try and set up and take that really quickly again.
Yep, XPK is just there in mid, looking to push the wave, and then gonna just retreat, fall back. But do you have the Shirley's pop coming from Kerp? XPK, don't get caught, please. No, does actually get popped up there by Kerp. XPK can still get away, forcing the ult. Will somehow manage to get out of the grasps of that robot. Shirley's being popped there from Fnatic. They just want to go ahead and clear that gap. That is still the danger. That is a massive, massive advantage for having a Blitzcrank on your team. Lamia, you got to get with the rest of your bros. This could be huge. Inhibitor could actually go down here. Teamless, they want to try and poke it away, but they can't quite get in. All of the GAs are back up for Teamless. Every single one of them. 3 GAs to 3 for both teams now, and it's just a standoff right here by the ashes of this turret and an inhibitor looking to go down.
And the big thing is they were able to pop XPK's ultimate, so he's going to be incredibly weak in this upcoming fight. All he's going to be able to do is poke the front line, so he's not going to be able to get on Metalex in the back line as they can just wear down this turret.
You do have Baron. It has respawn, so it's going to be a huge objective for whoever wins this one. But Teamless, they still want this damage. They still want to get this inhib. It's just so close to success of getting this objective. They can just fall back and then get Baron just a little bit easier. It's not going to be a huge improvement. But there you go. The jump going down onto Kerp there in the front line. The grab is a non-issue. Zyra ult being popped up. And Enray is actually in the back of the team, distracting a lot of the damage from Teamless. And Youngbuck going to be going down. Metal's very close to going down as well. And so is grabbing that. His GA will be popped in response as well. Lamia still has his. Is going to get that quick kill. And right now, Teamless is not looking too good. Youngbuck falls, tabs, the GA comes back, but when you're surrounded, it's going to do no good. And Fnatic taking that fight. Nice, wonderful, good.
And the big thing was, it was the second XPK's ultimate was up. You're counting it down, 3, 2, 1, go. And the second XPK's ultimate was up, they popped the Shirleyas, they decided to engage, and it was right before that inhibitor went down. And XPK, again, able to get in the back line without dying, and so he was able to just really, put a lot of pressure. The big thing, though, was N-rated in the beginning, and being as tanky as he is now, having the Randuins for the attack speed slow meant that he could just deal with Metalex and Zyra all on his own. So N-rated was 2v1ing the back line, and Metalex just didn't have enough damage to take him down as fast as he would like to. There it is. The Nexus turret's going down. 5 seconds until Blitzcrank comes out, but it's not going to be enough for himself, and Fnatic is going to be able to take this, the long, hard-fought win. All those GAs. Man. Fnatic grabs it 2-0 over Teamless. Really impressive play.
And as the clock hits 55 minutes in this game, wow, that was brilliant. Just nothing really short of brilliance.
Yeah, really impressive play. And there was a period of time where it looked like Teamless was going to have it. They were able to take the gold lead that Fnatic had and then turn it around on them. They had a 3K gold lead themselves.
Yeah.
I thought that they almost could have, pressured the base towers a little bit earlier. And if they'd gotten some poke on it, then maybe, with some opportunities, they could take down the inhibitor.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time where they had a gold lead and they were just kind of uncomfortable. But once Fnatic was able to get into their later builds, particularly once XPK was able to get that GA, so he already had the DFG. Once he had the GA, he was a little bit more comfortable in those fights, and he didn't have to worry about getting insta-killed. He could dive onto the backline. They started to be able to put pressure onto Metalex, and that was the big thing is, getting the pressure on the AD. Lamia the entire time was perfectly comfortable taking out that front line for Teamless, and Soaz just, constantly diving on the back, N-rated every single fight, went beeline straight for both Tabs and Metalex, and it worked out perfectly.
Yep, and there's a lot of worry. Going down onto Cotton X as soon as the game was starting to kick off. Level 6 at 14 minutes.
Yeah,
that's late.
Yeah, it was
that's really
13 minutes.
Late.
He was so far behind, and the big thing was he was putting himself behind by
Right.
trying to get those early ganks. So if they had a little bit more early pressure from Skarner with his ultimate, that could have really maybe put them in the game a little bit better. But really nice job from Cyanide getting the early advantage top. He was putting on a lot of pressure everywhere, and nice play overall. Once again, XPK, I thought he was going to let me down there with the Ahri. He wasn't quite able to get into the team. And the big thing was, it was Teamless, their initiation was on the front line.
Yeah.
Whereas Fnatic's, it was their main damage dealers. It wasn't their tanks. So that puts Ahri in a dangerous situation because she wants to be able to grab people. She wants to be able to get into the back line of Metalex, but it opens up opportunities for Teamless to just destroy her. And we saw Blitzcrank hooking her again and again the entire game, but with that mobility, she was barely able to survive.
Yep. And now we also talk about the late game. 6 GAs in that game. It appears that Moscow is leaking a little bit. So, but it's a good strat though.
The big thing is you need the damage to follow up on it, but it allows you to run fights a little bit more, be a little bit more safe in fights. You don't have to worry about people getting picked off. The big thing though is the aggression it allows. It's not just the threat of that you can come back after you get picked off. It's the fact that you can be a little bit more aggressive and not have to worry about dying. And that's a lot of that's a really big thing with a lot of high level fights is the fact that you don't necessarily have to kill the AD carry if you can just run at the AD carry.
Yeah.
As someone like Leona, you just run at them and put fear into their eyes, and they're forced to back off. Well, with the GA, you can feel a little bit more comfortable in fights.
Yep.
So yeah, really cool play from both teams. Fnatic, they do win that third place prize, but match number 2, the grand finals, M5 versus Curse, will be up shortly. It is a best of 5, and that's definitely going to be an exciting one.
It's maybe we gotta take a little bit of a longer break than we usually do just to go ahead and get this match set up. But if you haven't done so already, IGN.com/IPL, go to the news section, scroll on down, and you will see the contest. 5 $50 RP cards. We're giving those away. Click a whole bunch of buttons, and you'll be entered to win. We will be back just a little bit. IPL Elites Grand Finals M5. Curse you.